Why the hell should a restaurant owner even be using AI? That's the question. We're answering it today. No fancy words, no corporate fluff, just the truth.
Compounding advantage, man. Any operators doing it now in the next 12 months will be untouchable.
That's not even a headline. That's literally just a random Tuesday for us right now. I want to kick us off by just talking a little bit about our journey and how we even got into AI. Um, I mean, looking back, it was post COVID and it was around the 2022 time. And I started, I think I was just scrolling on Instagram and something popped up on my feed and it was Chat GPT. Clicked on it, started looking into it, and started just Googling it a little bit, little minor research. So I signed up with a free account and started to quickly realize like something crazy was happening. And I didn't know what it was. I just knew that it was helping me write these crazy emails, helping me, create evaluations. I mean, it was insane. I brought it up in one of our leadership breakfast meetings and didn't really get the approval at the time to buy some subscriptions, so we kind of just started testing it out, free versions. And I think it was like up until Google started bringing in Gemini, and obviously that was tied into an additional fee at the time. Got the approval and we started install, kind of just started assigning licenses to some of our team. We started with the leadership team actually, and that worked, but it wasn't fully built for what we needed at the time. And we didn't go looking for Claude. Like Claude came and found us. And fast forward to today, our entire leadership team is on Claude right now. And I mean, Bob, like as CEO, like how does that make you feel? Like what do you think like about AI right now?
Great question. A lot comes to mind, but I try not to think about it too much. Frankly, I try to conduct myself in the way that we've conducted ourselves for decades, right? And what I mean by that is be who we are and just let this help what we do, right? And I'm really big on that because I don't want technology to change our identity. It already does a little bit in how we operate, but I'll tell you exactly what I mean by this. I have this like feeling, and I haven't talked to her personally, but I always bring in my family, right? Because this is the people that I work with the most. But um, I have this feeling that I'm a little bit less connected to my mom because I think she feels like everything's coming from AI now that I send her.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? Like, if
Yeah.
she literally like she has like a little bit of doubt in her head. It's like,
Did you write this?
is my son texting
Yeah.
me, or is like is
Was this
AI
my son or
Did
responding?
he
Claude?
set up an
Right.
agent texting? Yeah.
So the reason that comes to mind is because I think that explains, and she's using AI, but it explains the resistance that we have to
Yeah.
technology because it creates a divide in between people and connectivity. And so I think it's just really important that we as a team understand and hone in on not only the technical side of like prompting and prompting correctly and
Mhm.
using the tool the best way we should, but not distancing ourselves or creating a gap between our partners, our customers, our team, and it can do that, and we should
Yeah.
be aware of that. And so, trying to make like my favorite word right now is humanize, right? Like I try to like humanize a lot of my conversation
Yeah.
through how I'm using AI because it's so important that we keep that connectivity. So that's why I'm super excited about these podcasts, and I'm also super excited about our in-person meetings and our when we start getting off the ground and start doing in-person, little events at the studio and stuff. Because you absolutely need that balance. Like you need the in-person. People need to hear us talking about it. People need to hear, or need, not even need to hear. They need to engage with you in a very normal way, and then also when you're using the piece of technology. And so, in short, man, I'm super proud of the team. Most importantly, I feel like we're a resilient bunch. it feels like just yesterday that we were talking about cloud-based systems for the first time, right? And I think that was what, 8 years ago now or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, it was about 8.
And it feels like just yesterday. And I remember how much that was a pivotal shift for us as a company. But we took it head on. I'll be very transparent. Not everybody accepted it. Not everybody was on board. But as a whole, and key leaders took it on and said, "This is going to help us. Well, then we should do it." Um, and what is it going to help us do? Going back to what we talked about last time, help us be better humans, right?
Yeah.
So fast forward to today, when you ask me the question, "How do I feel?" and everyone being on Claude and using the tools, I feel proud, man. I feel very proud. I feel happy for our team. I feel happy for us. We joke about it being a superpower, but it's empowerment. And
Mhm.
I think that's the biggest thing is what a great feeling it is when you feel empowered. And
Mhm.
so I'm proud, man. I'm very happy.
Yeah. And I mean, I know I mentioned like we weren't looking for Claude and Claude found us, but I mean, really, John, I mean, you brought this forward. And I mean, I have to ask, like, how'd you even first hear about Claude?
Well, my background, like we talked about last time, right, is I was a product manager, product lead
Mhm.
on a lot of different softwares. So I ran a dev team, a design team, um, a copy team, like the whole nine, right? So the dev team that I was running was on Cursor, Claude, a lot of those systems, and I was seeing them operate on them and just go from a pretty decent efficiency level, but to a wild efficiency level where they're just shipping constantly. So seeing that, it made me wildly curious. So I dove in there, and really, once I dove in there, I saw that as a product leader, product manager, I now had all those powers to myself, right? Like I was now able to develop my own softwares from a product lead mentality, design them, and so on. So that was like my first instance at it, and then I took it from there to just start creating my own softwares and systems and stuff. And fast forward to today, here we are with a team account and having a wildly efficient team who is using it daily. Very
So, there's so many different AIs that seem to be like out there. And
yeah.
I mean, I have to ask, like, why Claude specifically and what makes it different?
Well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, it's more of a thinking partner than I think a general chat bot, right? So obviously, ChatGPT has Codex, Grok now has their Grok build, and so they're all leveling up to being an execution level AI. But rewind to where we when we started introducing Claude and stuff, it was really just the leader in that space, and they still are, in my opinion. Codex is great, Composer is great, Build is great, but Claude has the power to not only plan out the the system that we're building or the issue that we're having that we need to solve, to actually executing it, and that from A to B or A to Z at this point is what we wanted, right, for our whole team. Not all of them are using Claude Code, but you're getting very close, which
Yeah.
is pretty
Yeah.
crazy,
No, it is.
and it's pretty wild to see. I mean, you're building now
I mean,
systems on your own,
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I'd
which is
never
awesome,
used any type of, coding, and now I feel like I'm a professional coder. It's
literally.
crazy. So for restaurant owners that are watching this, like, what's one thing that they need to know and what they need to understand?
Open the laptop, be curious.
That's it.
You don't
Just
have to be technical. That's the biggest thing. So just be curious
I feel like
and
that's
do
a
it.
super like conception also. It's like I have to be like tech savvy and in IT to understand AI,
Yeah,
but it's you don't. Just
I
curious.
wanna mention something that we were talking about just yesterday about investment, and I understand that's a great piece of advice, John. Just get started,
just
right?
get
That
started.
goes back to
That's it.
the core attribute that I think just taking action is so rewarding, right?
Exactly.
But I do wanna mention what we were talking about yesterday with investment, and I was trying to get, not trying to get, but John understands this, but I was giving them a different perspective, a different side of things, and we were using, I think, what, $20,000, right?
Yeah.
As the example, because we were looking at some computers, and we know that it's not, and y'all gonna have to correct me. This is where I lose on the technical side, but we know that it's not like computing power to like a whole server room. But we're trying to buy a really really high powered computer, right? Running about 20 grand. And my whole analogy was, I think us as businesses and as leaders in a business, we're always trying to assess ROI. And I think the biggest thing for me is there's quantifiable ROI, and then there's kind of a little bit of unknown. And that's where I think you hear a lot about creative people are going to be very empowered. And I don't think that means like creative necessarily in an artistic form, but it's creative in how you use AI to let it help you, right? And so the example I gave was, look, John, if I buy a $20,000 ice cream machine tomorrow, I know what it's going to do. It's going to produce more ice cream. It's going to keep my team happier. It's going to produce, it's going to raise our sales by X amount. It's going to allow us to have a little bit more throughput, right? That's a quantifiable ROI. I know it feels good. It helps my business do what it normally does, and it reinvests into the unit economics of a restaurant, right? On the flip side, $20,000 computer that we're building out as a brain project, how do you quantify that ROI? And we were starting to talk like literally, how do you quantify that ROI? And I keep going back to people.
Yeah.
It's really hard because how do you quantify empowering a whole team? How do you quantify connectivity? How do you quantify um, not autonomous work, but literally work that's paralleled with what we do day in and day out? How do you quantify new learnings? How do you quantify new perspectives? It's so hard, but AI gives you a lot of that, right? But what I couch it up to be is just my small example. And you asked a question, so I'll share real quick. But my first time I saw AI for the first time, I don't remember who prompted it or what it came through, how I got it, but it was literally the day that ChatGPT got released. And I open up the app and I start prompting like immediately, right? And it's so funny because I laugh at what I prompted, but
It was all silly back then.
it was so
It was all
silly,
silly.
right? So I run over to my parents' house, and my folks are having dinner with my sister and my brother-in-law, and it's them four. And I said, guys, I know y'all are having dinner right now, but I got to show y'all something. Like, this is amazing. And I said, look what this can do. It's called something called ChatGPT. And I prompted, and I don't know the exact prompt. I'm gonna have to look it up. Maybe it's even stored in
probably
there.
still there.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
probably
sure,
is.
sure.
I prompted something, and this is why, because I was fascinated by the AI's ability to bring in personality and context, like nuances that tech doesn't do, right?
Yep.
It's not just zeros and ones. It was like nuance, like a little bit. So I prompted something like, write a love letter from a person that lives in this country that speaks this language to a girl that lives in this country or whatever. And like the way that it wrote it and it prompted out, and I just remember showing it and just being like, and it just like typing and I was like, how is it doing this, like, and I was just blown super blown away. But anyways, my point is that how do you quantify that return? It's still very, very hard. But if it can make us better partners, if it can make us better coaches, if it can make us, I just heard one of our operators here at it was actually Marcus. He was talking about how he's using it to structure his trainings better.
That's
How do
amazing.
you coach that? How do you coach that? He's becoming a better trainer by leveraging AI, right? And so that's where you look 20,000 here, 20,000 here. Yeah, I can gamble and invest more into AI. So love what you mentioned, John, but wanted to add that perspective as well.
Love it. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I'll get into a little, why AI for restaurants also, because, I mean, I'm going to be real with all of you that are watching this right now. We're not a tech company. That's not what we are.
No.
We flip burgers. We manage and run drive-throughs. We manage people.
Yep.
And if we can be using AI to run better operations, so can you. But one super important thing, just to kind of piggyback off of what we're saying here, AI is not here to replace your team. It really isn't. It's here to make your team better, and that's exactly what Marcus is doing. And the less time on repetitive tasks, it's going to equal more time on what actually matters.
Boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Bob, I have a question. So, what would you say to a CEO who thinks AI is just a tech thing?
So I've been seeing a lot of videos. It's been a mixture of some smaller podcasts, restaurant podcasts, and actually some advertising, which is mind blowing because somebody's putting dollars behind that. And the perspective is, and I get it in context, But when you add the function of AI and technology in a responsible use of the technology, I totally disagree. But the context is basically in the restaurant industry, we need to be focusing on making good product. We don't need to be focusing on complicating our lives and leveraging AI.
Mm.
And literally, one lady, you could try to find the video, but she's like, "Our team needs to be focused on making the best noodles, not how to use AI." So that
Yeah.
I know, it gets you fired
It's
up.
not a technical, it's a leadership issue.
I agree.
Yep.
So I agree, right? And that's why I bring in the word responsible. Nothing against that lady, but she has to change her perspective just a tiny bit
Just
because the noodles can be better by leveraging AI, right? And so I don't want to leave it so broad. But I would tell you know when people used to use TI-83 calculators and then they would spell boobs and really like show it backwards? Like that's like the dumbest
Probably
way
all
you
of
could
us
use
here.
yeah. That's like the dumbest way you could use a calculator, right? And you would just be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, check it out," like across the room.
Yeah.
That can be your AI. Or still to this day, I don't know how to fully use a TI-83 calculator.
Yep.
Like it was extremely advanced at the time, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same piece of technology, but how we learn as a team to use the AI, I think, is what's important. So I know your question. What was your question about? What would we say about AI?
yeah,
Restaurant?
like what would you tell another CEO that thinks AI is just a tech thing?
Yeah, just a tech thing. Yeah, I mean, just that, right? It's whether it's a tech thing or not. Um, we're here to focus on our guest and we're here to focus on our team. And it strips a lot of things away that allow you to do that.
Mm.
So I don't understand how, to me, it's totally counterintuitive to think that you wouldn't leverage this technology.
Awesome. Yeah,
Agreed.
very well said. And I know we were talking about now as every single leadership member in our team is using Claude, but let's dive into each department. And I mean, both of you, no particular order, in your
Yeah.
own words, like how do you see Claude helping each department? And I mean, we can start off with accounting. Like, what are you seeing that's been a
For
game
me, I
changer
call
for
them
us?
scavenger hunts because a lot of the time I see them looking for information. Let's start there, right? Because data at the end of the day is, I think, the biggest strong suit as an operator to leverage with AI. So, like, our accounting team needing vendor information, how some payments are going through, rep information, specific data points from a year ago. We have all the connections in place to ask and receive. And I think that is important. And that at a, I mean, I say small level, but it's actually pretty big, is empowering the accounting team. Not just one facet, but that's one I wanted to mention for sure.
I mean, shoot, the accounting department's running the entire company almost.
I mean, it is the
Yeah,
company,
it
right?
is.
So it's pretty well done.
What about operations?
Operations,
So I want to say, I know what you mean there. I would just want to add the context of, I would say accounting is mapping the whole company because
Yeah.
There you
basically
go.
it's mapping decisions, right? And so if you can look at that map and have more clarity and then be able to formulate different stories from that map, then you know what to do in business, right?
Follow the
And
money.
so I know what you meant, but I think that's
Gotcha.
a better word.
Yeah, it is.
Totally
Absolutely.
agreed. I mean, we're also building out, systems for them and stuff like that that take it to a whole different level. But at its core, it's understanding data, um, quick, and receiving it when you need it. Operations is, you said it the other day, like what kind of operator do we want? Someone who understands the P&L, who can operate and handle people at a high level.
Yeah, so
And
I'll actually, well, thanks for mentioning. I want to
yeah,
interject real quick and share this. This is a very tangible way that a restaurateur can use this. Pick up the phone. I'm having an issue with this team member. They're shelled up. They don't like to talk a lot. They're roughly 24 years old, and they have a history of no siblings. How can I approach this individual and coach them to become a stronger individual on my team?
That simple.
And explain it to me as I am 6 years old. Boom, gives you context. Now I get to prep before I go have this conversation as a trainer, as a leader, as a coach, and I'm just going to have a better chance at getting that response that you're seeking from your team. So again, I'm not a professional communicator. I'm not a therapist. I'm not advisor. I'm not a coach, but you combine all of that, it's going to kick out something better than you're going to think by yourself, right? Like, don't be stupid and don't think about who the individual is right in front of you. But if you're already struggling, why not give that a shot?
That's true.
Oh yeah, but train it off of our employee handbook, off our non-negotiables.
So I'm
Exactly.
already, yeah, that's the next level part, right? Like, then you, again, going back to that calculator, how much of it are you going to use? Well, yeah, now when, like John's saying, when we're implementing our handbooks in there, our training material in there, and then it's prompting, well, now you're just streamlining culture. You're strengthening culture.
Exactly. Exactly.
Absolutely. And I mean, I was gonna next one on the list I have here is IT, but I think I can answer that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's already helping me with network monitoring,
Mhm.
ticketing systems, system health. I mean, it's just everything coming to me automatically in the morning without me even having to go dashboard over dashboard, website by website. I mean, I have everything right in front of me
Yep.
just by using AI.
You know, I want to mention something really quickly. Some people think I'm a pessimist. I'm not. I'm actually very optimistic about life and about people in general. But I would say I'm also a realist. And I
Yep.
think there is a lot of leaders that are fearful to empower people
I can
because
see
they're fearful that, oh, this person can do what I do better. Uh-oh, my job's at risk,
Mhm.
right? Or they're going to go and do this better somewhere else. People stay with good leaders. And so if you're not empowering your team, you're only limiting your team. And I just think that sometimes we approach this with fear, or we get that little bit of, ooh, I can't share this. This is too good. And that's why I'm very proud of all of us, because and I think we can get better. We were just
Oh
talking
yeah.
about a group chat. I think we can get better at sharing content. Like, what I'm really struggling with right now is, how do you build a company that is not totally public facing, like on a social media? We're not just interacting on a social media platform,
Yeah.
but yet we can engage with content on digital platforms faster and easier internally, right? So like the internal social media, etc. But why am I struggling with that? Because we're intaking so much information from so many different spots, and my thought process a lot of the time is like, oh, I want to share this with G. Oh, I want to share this
Yeah.
with John. Like, oh, I want to share that, like, because I'm trying to funnel everything I'm learning, right? We used to do it with books. That's literally how. If you go into that which is ironic, if you go into that cupboard in the accounting room, there's a bunch of books down there, and probably half of the people in this office don't know that there's books in there. But we used to go to a conference. They used to give you a book. Thank you for coming to the conference. Then we used to come back, and then we used to buy everyone the book and give it to you.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? What's the difference between learning how to use this AI tool and then teaching you and saying, it goes back to the old saying of, like, give someone a fish, they eat for a day. Like,
Yeah.
teach someone to fish, they eat for the rest of their life. Like, there's so much of that that applies here. So again, I'm just really big on empowerment, and I would say that we should not be fearful to use it.
Exactly.
Love it. Yeah, and I think that tackles the ownership portion of
Yep.
department. And what about legal? Like, what could
Legal.
this do for a legal
I mean,
department?
a legal assistant is wildly powerful,
Okay,
right?
I'm running over stuff.
Yeah.
I just remembered. Sorry.
Mhm.
I think it's called Scale AI. I don't know who the girl is, and I don't
Okay.
know what the company does, but if you look up Scale AI, I think I told you this.
Yeah.
The founder, or one of the founders, I think is like 31 years old. She's now a
Wow.
billionaire. Go watch the podcast with her and James Dumoulin, the guy that came down here at Social Fest.
Okay.
Remember we School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Okay, he and his friends interviewed her,
Wow.
right? By the way, plug in, but James is a really nice guy. I didn't know how young that guy was. He's like 23 years old or something or whatever, but super sharp cat. He asked her about legal,
Yeah.
and she literally, like, you're gonna have to go see it, so I don't like butcher the context, but basically what I took away from it is they built $1 billion company and used 80-90% legal from AI.
Wow.
I mean,
Like, yeah. And then she even mentioned that there's attorneys that are basically using AI to spam lawsuits, right? Because they're just serving like a bunch of people different lawsuits. So it's funny how people use it in different ways. But
For
I'm
sure.
sorry, you asked about legal, and that immediately came to mind. And obviously, she understands this at a very technical level.
Which goes back to people, right? We're not here to replace our lawyer that we have here. We're here to empower him, right? Give him that assistant that he
Yep.
needs. Give him the tooling for auditing, or I mean, it goes back to development either because he handles both, right? Looking at a property and being able to
Yep.
dissect the area, all the analytics behind it, and data points that he can find, and make a better decision.
So who's gonna win today? Like, I mean, it goes back to that one man versus 100 gorillas, or no, 100 men versus one gorilla, or whatever. But
Yeah.
who's gonna win today? 5 trained, educated lawyers that know how to use AI at the highest level, or a law firm that has 50 attorneys that don't know how to use AI? I don't see a scenario how those 5 people don't outweigh
They
the
will.
50.
I think we're looking at lean and mean teams
Yeah.
is the future for sure.
Big
Um,
time. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, not in a way that's reducing teams, but in a way that's just empowering them. They don't need to grow outside of where you are, kind of.
Yeah. I think people see lazy work and assume that that's a product of AI, and therefore I shouldn't use it. And so what I mean by that is, like, if you were to draft up a contract, the base of a contract, and it has a bunch of errors in it, and you start reading it and it hallucinated a little bit
Yeah.
or whatever,
Mhm.
people lose confidence so quickly in the whole thing. They're just like, oh, it's
That's a human element that needs
yeah,
to come in.
that's right. So you come in and fine tune it, and then fine tune it and fine tune it, and then you get better at it. Then you
Yes.
add time.
Mhm.
Then it compounds.
You're
And it's
training it.
yeah,
You're doing it.
yeah,
Yeah. I think it's just either your team gets smarter or your competition does.
yeah.
You got to
Somebody
pick one.
said, and I forgot, but back to your question about legal, is
Yeah.
legal and radiology. Both of those, they're like, don't,
Radiology.
yeah, the
Interesting.
people that study
Yeah.
the
Like
because they're just
X-rays
basically
and
those imaging, yeah, the X-rays.
That's
They're just
interesting. Yeah.
using AI to read the X-ray. So why do you need a
I mean, on the
radiologist to
medical
read it?
side, we ain't gonna do a whole thing. That's just crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, crazy. But anyways, they were just like, if you can influence your child a little bit, don't let them do those 2 professions right now
yeah.
until we figure it out.
interesting.
Yeah.
What about media?
All media is a beast, but we are really starting to dive into that, to be honest. But we're looking at like Personal Clipper from Higgsfield, their supercomputer program that just got released. Super awesome thing. I highly recommend going and looking at that. Um, we're looking at kind of using Claude to help us audit ourselves on YouTube, on our channels, our social channels, give us feedback on what we need to do better, what we need to optimize, helping us with research, naming, so on and so on. I mean, it keeps going, right? We have designers who are using it to make themselves better. I mean, Figma has its own AI systems and stuff. So across the board, to be honest,
So this show right here, Restro Tech, running on Claude.
I'm pretty much. I mean,
Oh man,
a lot of
you're
human
watching
power
it.
behind
Yeah,
it, but
yeah,
yeah.
everyone's watching it. Yeah. Bob, just turning it over to you. I mean, which department surprised you the most when we rolled this out?
Which department?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people, like, literally how they used it,
Yeah, like
or
we were so rolling out Claude.
yeah.
One particular department or individual in our leadership team must have surprised you the most. Like, hey, you know what? This is where we got the most efficiencies, or found that there was room for more efficiencies.
Man, honestly, it feels very even, to be honest. And that's not, y'all know me. It's not me
Yeah.
giving out participation trophies, but I would probably have to say, so I want to make 2 points. One, shout out to our operational team, because there instinctively is a it depends how you run a restaurant company, right? If you're a multi-unit restaurant company, a lot of people talk about like that big brother feeling, or the eye in the sky
Yeah, yeah,
feeling,
yeah.
or whatever. And we've tried to, or ivory tower, there's so many of these kind of words. We've always tried to knock that down. Like, we've always tried to be
Mhm.
just more boots on the ground, shoulder to shoulder, like that approach. So I think I want to shout out the operations team, because this is an absolutely mind-blowing time period that we're living through, and they really haven't skipped a beat. Like, got it, and said, "How can I make this better?" Like,
Yeah.
and teach me, John, teach me, G. How do I make this
They're
better?
very
How can I
receptive.
use it?
Yeah.
They're extremely receptive. So I think that one is what comes to mind. And then on the other side, I'm still stuck on uh just mind blown how some of our heavy lifts, and we didn't have very many of those days, but you put what we did in accounting, those few days that we were pretty heavy
Yeah.
for like 3 days or whatever, 4 days,
Mhm.
y'all have kept some of that up, but do that for 365 days.
Oof.
Like, I'm not being pretentious here, but I think we could probably make a dent in the accounting world. Like,
Oh yeah.
if we just focused on, hey, we want to build the best accounting management system,
Yeah.
like, or accounting consulting or accounting, we don't want to do any of that. But like, if you get individuals that can just rip through what's happening, don't lose sight of the day-to-day work, and just constantly improve and build out reports and systems that are just stronger. Um, I mean, how just so freaking valuable. But anyways, I lost my point a little bit. The accounting um, impressed me so much because it's not like we went into. I told John we need to go into accounting because it's really it's well the way I explain it, but cash is the blood of the company. Without cash, company dies. People is the most important part of the company. So let's empower our people and let's manage the cash better in accounting, right? So that was kind of like the way my business mind approached this. But it was probably until we started having our powwow where I was giving y'all a global kind of overview of accounting
Mhm.
and how we use that department that I started to go, oh shoot, because some people watching this might feel like, oh, these guys already know it. It's like, no, that's literally why we started this podcast, is because every week we're just like learning,
Every
and it's
week.
like
Yeah.
accelerating the learning curve. But it wasn't probably until that meeting where I said, oh shoot, accounting might be the perfect department for this. And then you're kind of like, duh, dude, because the more data you have, the
It's a
better,
lot of data.
right?
It's a lot of data.
But I didn't get that at first. We just kind of by chance landed on that, and then I started to realize, so this is perfect for AI.
Mhm. Absolutely. So, John, what would you say, now being here with us, seeing the, enhancements that we're making here, what would you say the domino effect is for other restaurant owners? Like, what are they missing?
What are they missing? It's an interesting question. I think that yeah, it just goes back to what I keep saying. They just need to start. They just
Yeah.
they're missing. I think they're seeing too many headlines, so they're missing the opportunity that's right in front of them, and then it compounds very quickly. So um, it's hard. I don't want to say it's hard to catch up, but if you don't start, but I mean,
Yeah,
these businesses
Just get started.
just get started.
Just get started.
it's never too late.
It's definitely never too late. That's all
Yeah,
I'm saying. Yeah.
I want to make sure we make something very clear. We're talking a lot about the restaurant industry, which I agree. But right now, we're operating franchises. Franchises have their built out systems. We use those systems.
Yep.
We pay for them and we use them. A lot of what we're talking about is management of multi units or multiple restaurants
Yep.
or scaling, right? And the reason I want to highlight that is because if I know our day to day would look and sound different if we were trying to improve the system within the restaurant, the four walls of the restaurant, and make it better. Because right now we're touching some of that, but we're doing we're spending a lot of our time on how to manage and run the company better. Because we were talking, I was talking to some culinary guys, and I was trying to tell them like, hey, are you using AI? And they're like, nah, we just that's the power of culinary, is like, recipes and people's imagination and creativity and stuff. And I'm like, let's just talk about tomatoes for a second. Like, let's talk about tomatoes. I can pull up so much information, sentiment building information, factual information, tariff information,
Hmm.
weather information, and we could probably in about 20 to 30 minutes find out a better response on what tomatoes we want. what are people's taste buds liking right now? What are the highest moving, tomatoes? Like, it's probably gonna allow us to make a better decision on what tomato we want to use for a recipe,
I agree,
Mhm.
100%.
right? Like, so there's some of that I think um, we really need to challenge ourselves to ask ourselves, how are we using the tool?
Yeah, totally agree. And going back to your domino effect, I say get started, but what does that even mean, right? Start with leadership and go one by one. Have a conversation with each person individually, whoever is in charge of rolling that out. Why? Why not a group setting? I mean, even Bob asked me that setting when we did it, right? Or that
That's
question.
a good point. Yeah.
And it's because everybody's day to day is different. And fully understand everybody's day to day, you can understand their problems, and then you can understand how to fix them, or even improve them, or give them the tool set to make it easier, whatever it might be. But fully understand everybody's day to day on an individualized level makes it more clear. They open up more, and then you can set your team on a correct path. And then that path, that's the domino effect, right? That
Oh,
starts
okay.
trickling down. We have GMs and DMs asking us for Claude access now, right? That I mean,
Wow.
that how did that get there? It's because the operators are using them.
Mhm.
Accounting's using them, HR's using it. So across the board, and it's just how do you start? Start with leadership. Start with leadership. That's it.
Very
That's
well
it.
said. Very well
Can
said.
you mention a little bit about what you were teaching us about the data piece? Because I know that's a big question for people.
What exactly?
What's Anthropic's position on, is your data?
Oh, is your data secure?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so there's multiple things, right? So business accounts are usually great for operators and stuff like this. Why? Because they have built-in contracts with you to not allow them to train off your data. What does that mean? They're not pulling your data, they're not using it, they're not dissecting it, they're not, training their models off of it. So that's what we want, right? And we were talking to a bank the other day, and they were looking at an enterprise level cloud system, which it's an even bigger contract that they're signing with them to not extrapolate any of that data that they're using. So go for business accounts. API keys usually are natively free of data extraction. So do your research a little bit, but don't go for personal accounts. It's not what you want to do. That's lower cost, and not all the time, but they're usually taking your data and they're training their models off of it on personal
Yeah.
accounts. Yeah.
And I want to put a little, it's not a disclaimer, but just I want to highlight something. Um, you can have an outstanding accountant, outstanding leader, outstanding operator that is struggling on how to adopt AI, and that doesn't mean that they're bad at what they're doing. So a
Yeah.
lot of people feel like a sense of inferior, like, to the topic because we don't understand it, and you have to kind of grab it from a contextual standpoint to know how to implement. Um, so we're not, but again, that's why empathy is important.
100%.
That's why talking these conversations just through is important, because you don't want to make your team feel inferior.
Mm-mm.
You want them to understand the value piece,
Yeah,
right?
those one-on-one conversations allow you to be empathetic towards your
Yeah.
situations, right? Allow you to understand their knowledge base without being in a room full of people who like, oh, I might know less than everybody here, so I might not speak up as much.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely being empathetic towards the person, understanding them, and working through it with them. Not just saying, here you go. Well, you don't know how to do this. Exactly. I think you said
Yeah.
this the other day, right? So yeah, empathy is just wildly important in this situation. Whoever is leading that charge
Yeah.
needs to have that.
And I
that
think
skill
I
set.
think it's just real simple for me. It's every day that goes by, there's a young whippersnapper out there that's learning accounting and understands AI
Mm,
versus knows accounting and doesn't know AI, right? And it seems like it's just going to inevitably cross, and I think that cross is probably going to approach faster than people could ever imagine, because of the compounding effect
Are
of
we at the whipper? What did you say?
the whippersnapper.
Are we at that age now? Is that what's happening?
Hey, yeah, I'm a young whippersnapper. That's funny. I just wanted to say that, but yeah, no, it's true, man. It's true. I see. I mean, come on, dude. There's people,
It's very true, though. It's very true.
half my age that know how to use AI. It's like,
At a very high level too.
yeah.
See that, I mean,
But I like that positive fear. I like that positive fear of, like,
yeah.
some 22-year-old coming in here and just being like, "Oh, what? You don't know how to use this?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, you don't know how to communicate." I'm just kidding.
All right, guys. So yeah, I mean, coming into a close here. I mean, John, you want to give us a little teaser for what we can expect next episode?
Yeah, so next episode, let's see. We got a lot of plans here, but we want to. Oh my gosh, I forgot it. Okay. Um, oh man, my notes are wrong.
Maybe we can do, I don't know,
What was the
some
question? Next
vendor,
episode?
yeah, some little bit of vendor listing,
Yeah, that sounds about
or
right. Yeah, I have vendor
some
list
like
on here, some OData stuff, but yeah, vendor list.
talk
I think
about
that's
like
Let's
probably a
maybe
good
get
idea.
accounting platform, some of those integrations, and how we made some enhancements over there.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say let's. I think we're running about 40 minutes right now. We've stuck a lot. I love the discussion because I think this is the powerful. This is like the hurdle that everyone's gonna face. Like,
Mhm.
you know, so I like where the discussion has been. But let's back up. We jumped around. I love the way we did that. But let's just pick one topic and let's just break it down way more. Let's which one do y'all want to break down? We talked about um why don't we talk about accounting? Why don't we talk about accounting?
Okay.
Like let's what piece of the accounting equation do we want to break down? The bank transfers comes to mind.
That's fun. That's what we're doing right now. Yeah. There's a lot of systematic things. So I'm going to try and break that down in a simple way. Um, but yeah, the bank transfers was something that was taking what? I mean, if it happens twice a week, you're taking 6, 7 hours out of the day or out of the week to make that happen. And we've reduced that down to what's about to be 5 minutes per 10 minutes per practically. So half an hour at the end of the week, pretty much is what you're spending now on bank transfers. And that was just taking just extrapolating data from different bank systems because our locations are in different areas around Texas, and some locations don't have the exact bank that other locations have. So we have to have multiple banks for our location. So having all of those centralized to one location, taking all that data, figuring out a reconciliation for that, and then providing a document to our bank um, to then make that transfer, right? Before it was a lot of math, there's a lot of logging in, a lot of going from back and forth, creating new documents, multiple documents, especially for uploading to something like R365, which is our accounting software that we use. But that was a very long process. Now it's really going to our mainframe, which is something that we built ourselves, looking through all the banking data, approving that. It's sending directly over through an encrypted system to the bank. The bank is then taking that, making the transfer, and then our accountants are also receiving the files they need to upload to our accounting software, and then it's done. So it sounds might be a lot. Might sound like a lot, but it's very simple.
50 bank accounts, no math,
Yeah, pretty much.
no logging into online banking, 100% security, and transfer money instantly
Yeah,
or initiate the transfer instantly at a push of a button.
yeah.
Who doesn't want to talk about that?
I mean that's incredible, right? It's
You know what I
awesome to
mean?
see. Yeah, I mean our bank's
Like,
even excited, so it's
yeah, it's
great.
neat stuff. It's really neat stuff. So that one was good. Yeah, man, I'm excited. I don't know. The next, I think we should probably talk to Rudy and see how we can do some screen sharing next episode. I would like to show to answer. I'm going to answer the question that he asked John, which
Yeah,
is I'd like to dive into what we did with the deposits, the cash over and under. And how we are touching so many different facets of business in one little mini exercise. I mean, accountability, accounting, management, operations, branding, because we worked in
yeah.
logos. I mean, reconciling because we're reconciling an electronic point of sale system with an accounting system. So I would say we should probably dive into some of those um, daily notifications. Um, and the daily sales summaries that we're
Cool.
doing.
That'd be fun. We do
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
a good one.
Yeah, I made a statement, a pretty strong statement today in our meeting this morning that I think that we have the best daily sales reports that we've ever had in the history of this company, and we're not using a software provider.
Amazing.
All internal. Yeah.
Wonderful. Cool. Well, then, I mean, y'all heard it here. So we didn't start perfect. We just started. I mean,
Right.
that's the key here, and that's the whole point. So if you're on the fence, thinking about it, stop waiting for the perfect time. We started with a free version of Chat GPT. That's how we started, and look at us now. I mean, you all can do this. So please subscribe, share it, follow us at RestroTech. Let's go.
Let's go.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna steal the momentum, G. I'm sorry. I think this is so important. I love how you close this out there. But you know how
Yeah.
you know how I operate.
Let's go.
I thought this was very powerful and you'll know why. What day did you say it was? It was a normal what?
Like 2022?
No, you said it was a normal Tuesday, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so check this out. 174,000 people didn't wake up today. 50 million people are fighting cancer. 55 million people can't remember their own memories. 300 million people can't see colors. 430 million people can't hear. 771 million adults can't read or write. 2.6 billion people have never used the internet. 6.5 billion people have never been on an airplane. What you call a Tuesday, someone might call a miracle.
Wow.
But that was really
That's
cool.
so deep.
Super deep, right? We're normalizing this technology. And I just want to say thanks, G, for having us on, because all of it is one big blessing.
Yeah. I agree. Facts for sure. Amen.